Hello, hello. My name is Brittany.
And I'm Kate.
And we are
The Fools.
Join us as we explore everything spiritual, astrological, and overall mystical.
Don't forget to follow your intuition, but more importantly, follow us at The Fools.
Hi.
Welcome back again.
We are so excited to have another episode of the Fools podcast.
And 17 is actually my lucky number.
How are we on 17?
And this is 17.
My lucky number's 3.
Well, that was cute
That
when
was a
it
while
happened.
I think that my life path is also 3. Did
Me
Raven
too.
tell you your life path?
We're both 3s.
Wow.
We
Maybe
knew
that's why
that.
we're in love.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys don't know how to figure out your life path, I think you should ask Raven at the Midtown Mystic because I don't remember.
Just Google life path number. You're adding the date of your birthdays. And then dividing it down till it doesn't go anymore.
So it's a single digit, right?
Yeah.
It's really interesting. It's just like another tool to like kind of figure out what your life purpose is or like why you're on this planet. It's just a fun little...
Yeah, she did the life path number of my house, and it was a 1. So you could take like your home address and like do the same math to get to your house's your life number. And then she was like, "Oh, your house is a 1. It's constantly going to be like redesigned and like added onto," which is true about our house even before we owned it. And that is great for starting a new business in because it's a life path 1 beginnings.
Wow, I love that. Do you remember anything about life path 3?
I think we love attention.
Well, I mean, look at us starting a podcast so that people will pay attention to us.
So we're happy you're here paying attention. Anyways.
I'm like, oh, professional dancer. Now I'm like acting. I'm like, please pay attention to me.
Anyways, did I say, look at what I can do?
Did you notice I'm doing something? Anything? Hi. This is not what this episode is about, but fun tangent.
Fun tangent.
We are here today because we were doing a little brainstorming and we thought it would be interesting to do a podcast about mind, body, soul connection because that is a term you will hear time and time again. Like it's just all over, not only the spiritual, but just in life, I feel like, but definitely in the spiritual world on top of all that.
It's almost like a spiritual concept that also makes sense logically.
Yeah. I mean, we all know we have a physical body and we know we're in a physical world with things around us. And then the mind is our conscious being. That's what makes us human. And then the spirit is, if you believe there is a spiritual soul, another realm. So that's also kind of like if you are into this stuff, which I think you would be if you're listening to this podcast.
Mm-hmm. Even if you're a little agnostic, you know what I mean? There's like some sense of... also if you've like taken drugs before or anything, you've been to places that are like, okay, well, to each their own. You're like, okay, yeah, maybe there's like other things happening.
Yeah, or like even like you can feel like a connective oneness. I think something that's really hard for anyone to deny because it has been scientifically proven is that we're all made of vibration and we're all connected through that. Even if you don't believe we're spiritually connected, it's like you can feel there's a oneness to it all. So yeah, we thought we would kind of delve into that today.
And I think it's interesting because it's almost like having that mind, body, spirit connection feels like attaining enlightenment or something. Like it feels like very hard to do.
Yeah, well, I feel like to get there is really hard. And so people don't do it, right? Or you don't focus on it, or you lack in one of the areas. Which I feel like is also human. So I think it's human nature to lack something in your life. So this is with anything, but if we're talking about mind, body, spirit, you're not going to be able to constantly sustain all 3 of those all the time unless you are literally like a fucking monk or something.
And it like goes to even like having the time, right? Like if you're a mom, if you're like a caretaker for somebody, it's hard to like be putting yourself first and be like prioritizing the things that you need to do to be in alignment with those things.
Yeah. So I think when you think about anything in your spiritual journey, always know that like you are human. There's a reason you're human. You're not a fucking god. And to like be kind to yourself. Anything we talk about today is not to belittle you or make you feel like that you're not doing it well. It's like do what you can or have a goal to put a time aside to focus on something later, but just know that these are tools, and whatever you're doing is always enough. Just
And I mean, personally, I strive for those little moments where like it does kind of like feel like, oh, this does feel like aligned with me. So I mean, that's when I'm like free dancing in my kitchen, like I got some jams on and I'm just having a lyrical moment, like letting myself be free. And it's like, oh, okay, I'm present with my body, I'm moving, I can appreciate that I can move, so I have gratitude. I'm like letting myself be free, I'm letting my soul radiate and shine, and that's good for my mental health. So I feel like that
and
is
it's almost meditative, because when you're dancing, like, you know, free dancing is basically just doing whatever feels right in your body, like not thinking about doing it correctly or looking good.
Releasing the judgment for yourself. Yeah, because it doesn't matter if you look good.
It does not matter. Release your ego. If you're judging yourself, it is coming from an ego. It's not coming from a spiritual place. So just know that, let it go, and jiggle the body. Let it go. Especially if you can do it naked. It is liberating. At least I think so. And
I used to do it naked. I'm not there anymore.
but when you're doing that, you're also in the moment. So it is your mind mentally just focusing on the music, and that is meditative, and that's a release spiritually. So I think,
and we're so connected with music. I know so many of us are. At least that's why things like
that's why the music industry is so fucking big.
Yeah, we resonate with things on like a soul level. So when you're in that moment and things are just like, that's when it, for me personally, that is a moment I can definitively say, like, I feel pretty connected in those areas.
I will definitely do a little free dancing. It's hard for me sometimes because as a professional dancer, I'm like trying to get away from dance, and it's not a negative thing, but when you make your hobby your career, or not even hobby, but like your passion your career, you need to find other hobbies, because it can become draining to do the same thing all the time. So being a physical person, me and Kate talked about how we are both like very strong in the body of the mind, body, spirit game. We're both very active, and like Kate's a trainer, I'm a dancer. And for me, something I found that really connects my mind, body, spirit is yoga, which is something collectively a lot of people have found. The problem is I think people get discouraged with yoga because to be able to get into a meditative state with it, you have to know the yoga poses and the practice and like the flow of things. So in the beginning of your yoga practice, you will be focusing on the body. But once you know those poses, because yoga is like
figuring out what it feels like.
Yeah, like, and they're kind of set poses. You're going to do the same things over and over in yoga, maybe in a different order or whatever. But, you know, once you're there, then you can really be in that moment, connect with your breath, connect with the teacher's voice, and it really becomes meditative in that way too, which I think is another great way of mind, body, spirit.
And also with yoga, yeah, you have to be going regularly enough, because I mean, I've had that relationship with yoga, and then I've lost that relationship with yoga.
And you have to rebuild the trust.
Totally. Like anything you do, you're not always going to be good once you start back at it again.
Yeah.
Everything takes practice. And there's so many ways that like whatever is like setting your soul on fire is like a way you can get in alignment with that mind, body, spirit situation. So like if you love cooking, and you're cooking up in the kitchen, and you have your good jam on, and you splurged on yourself at the grocery store, and you're about to go in,
and
like
you feel that lighthearted energy in your heart. That is a spiritual moment you're having. You know, don't question that. Like there's
lean into it.
Yes,
yeah,
cooking doesn't bring everyone joy. You know what I mean?
Dancing doesn't bring everyone joy.
Exactly. So you can find these things, and I actually started keeping a notes journal about like things that make me happy, things that make me cry, and I did it as an acting technique so that I know how to like what to pull on when I'm in scenes. But then I was also like, this is just interesting as a human reflection tool
to know about yourself.
To know, like, be like, oh, if I'm like really going through it right now, and I just throw on some music and wiggle my body, I'm gonna feel better.
You've all seen the memes, maybe you haven't. That's like going on a stupid walk for my stupid mental health. Like it's on, and it's sometimes it's that shit that's hard to do, like
that you need. There's a reason you're resisting it, and the reason is your fucking ego. I don't believe in the devil or hell or anything, but if there was something that was like equivalent to the devil, it is your ego. It is that little fucking voice in your head that says you're not good enough. Why would you do that? And just like keeps you in the state
keeps you
of,
little.
Yeah, comfortable and never leaving your safe bubble. And that's just like not a place to grow. I feel like every time I go to a workout class, I'm like, oh, do I even really want to do this? Like, whoa. And then I get there and I'm like, I remember why I like doing this. I feel this sense of lightness.
I might even not like it in the moment and like be getting in my car and be like, I actually feel better about things.
I'm so glad that I did that. And you know, it's not only just like working out and physical body stuff, but it's also for me like journaling, which I think is working on your mind, and spiritually meditating. Those, I am much more prone to do body stuff because I am comfortable with knowing that on the other end of it, I will feel relief, and I am used to pushing through that throughout my life. It is so hard for me to sit down and just journal. I will fucking clean my whole kitchen before I write like a couple journal entries.
You know what I love to
resistance.
do to avoid things is my fucking laundry. I'm like, do I need to wash every piece of clothing I own?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could meditate right now, or I could just completely fill this with like something that could wait, you know? So as long as you know those things about yourself, I think you can kind of focus. I mean, easier said than done. Here, I feel like every episode I'm like, I should meditate more. And then I'm like,
And I will say, you know what? I have a partner, love him to death, and he calls me out on my shit. And he's like, should you go on a walk right now? And I'm like, should I fucking walk? Do I want to walk? I don't want to fucking walk right now. And he's just like, okay. But the people that know you the best and love you the best, like, they fucking know, dude. And I get it. I did not want to listen to it at the moment. I didn't listen to it. Did I walk? Fuck no. Should I have walked? Probably. Yes. But I mean, to say it's not always easy.
Yeah.
To get to that point of like feeling connected, feeling aligned.
And it's interesting. I think if you can figure out what you enjoy, like we said, it can be like your starting off point. So for me, I love going on walks, and a huge reason I wanted to get a dog so bad is because I was walking without a dog. So I was like, might as well get a dog and walk the dog. And that is a way for me. I know I purposefully never listen to music when I walk. I force myself to think and let my mind kind of wander, but in a meditative way that I am conscious of my thoughts, where I'm like, what's coming up? And that's how I honestly write a lot of my jokes and my comedy, and like
getting to that space of like, what am I thinking about to entertain myself?
Yes, exactly. Is that entertaining to other people? So you have to give yourself moments of quiet to reach these mind, body, spirit connections. I think we love distractions. We
do. And maybe that's just like being alone in the bath for 30 minutes.
And it sucks because like we have a podcast, so I'm like, obviously listen to our podcast first, but like I will do that in the car. I'll always pop on a podcast, and I'm not driving as much as I used to, but when I was stuck in traffic sometimes, and this sounds like torture-y, I would be like, you know what? Turn the podcast off, turn the music off, sit with yourself.
I would drive in silence as well.
Yeah. And it's like, I
feel like that's a very Scorpio season thing to do.
Yeah. It's like, it's kind of torturous, but then it's also like you hit a different type of, I don't know, headspace. Because for me to force myself to sit in my own house is hard because I can find a million distractions. Always to do with cleaning, usually.
Always to do with sanitizing, sweeping, anything
folding,
like that.
Folding. Like it's you. That's the problem with life is, have you heard of the term entropy?
No.
We're always in a constant state of entropy, which is like the world will always turn to chaos. Like if you clean, it will always get dirty. It will always, if you know, nothing is ever going to stay in the state. It's like of where you put it at. The world naturally turns back into entropy, and that's why you constantly have to be cleaning, because that is the natural way of life. I hope I'm saying that right. Entropy. I'll kill myself if it's not. No, I'm just kidding. But when I learned of that word, it brought me so much relief, because I was like, I'm always cleaning, I'm always doing it, and it's just like, that's just the way it is.
That's just the way it is.
But so that's why it's kind of hard in your house, because there's always something you can do.
Always chaos.
And if you're stuck in the car, if you're stuck on a walk,
trash.
You got to do it. You're outside of the house, unless you walk back in. But you know what I mean? Once you start, it's so much easier to just keep going.
For 15 minutes even, like, whatever that looks like for you. I don't know. Maybe it's like a forward fold. Like, it doesn't have to be that crazy, you guys.
True. We were talking about stretching. Mm-hmm. It is so hard to get yourself to stretch, but it is so good to connect with your body that way.
And just like hang in your stretches for a couple beats. Like,
you should hang in all your stretches for at least 30 seconds, or else it's not really a stretch. And that's on coming from a dancer. Mm-hmm. If you are trying to get your splits or something randomly and you only hold your stretch for 15 seconds, then your muscle doesn't relax into it. So when you hit any stretch, even if you're just sitting on the floor in a butterfly position, be there, be present, sit in it. Even if it's uncomfortable, because once you reach that minute point, your muscles will relax into it a little bit and it will get easier, but you have to get to that point. And that's...
Wait, 1 minute or 30 seconds?
30 seconds is the minimum you need to do. 1 minute, I think, is like
good enough.
Better.
Okay, well, on that note of stretching and pushing yourself, I think that we should encourage people to push themselves in finding what they like. Like, you might know things you love to do for yourself, but I would say keep exploring, because you don't know what else is out there.
True.
You know, I just discovered virtual collaging.
Yeah.
And I love it.
And what's really cool is, like, if you know, me and Kate both know that we are big into the body part of things. So now she found something that gives her like a mental, like, clear space in her head. So you can find different tools for each thing. Or something I try to do is, we talked about this before, connecting, steps you want to integrate into your life onto habits you already do. So, like, if you know every day you write in your agenda, then connect, writing 5 things you're grateful for, or a journal entry for your mind onto that. Or, you write in your agenda, then you take 5-10 minutes to stretch. Mm-hmm. And then that's, you can connect different things in your life to find more balance, which is easier said than done, but
always easier said than done. Yeah. Oh, hello.
Hi. Cairo. I've been trying really hard to remember to say affirmations to myself when I brush my teeth. So I always be brushing my teeth 2 times a day, every day. I never forget.
There we go.
But my affirmations, it's just, why is that so hard to build that habit, to be nice to yourself?
I don't know why. It is hard. I'm not doing them either. I write them in my agenda, but I'm not verbally speaking them to myself.
Looking into your own eyeballs.
I'm not connecting. So, I mean, it's very tough to reach that point of feeling like connected in all areas of your life. Like, oftentimes it's off balance, but I think just figuring out your strengths and having gratitude for them helps you identify your weaknesses, helps you identify where you need to spend more time, whether it's being alone with yourself, whether it's like walking outside. Like, maybe you're like, I sit at my desk all fucking day. I work and I work and I work, and then it's dark and I need to feed myself. Like, you need to prioritize even just a small walk, or like fresh air on your balcony.
Yeah, seeing the sun.
Yeah, just something I never little things.
And it's like, you have to think about what... My cat is just distracting me. You have to think about what is going to bring you happiness, because I think whenever we, as humans, think about adding new things to our routine, we get the sense of overwhelming dread, like too much. And it's like, well, don't you think it would be better to spend 5 minutes moving your body, even if it's just like a shimmy shake at your desk, than to not? Like, don't just like, I don't know. I always use examples, but I don't want to like put it in a box, but like, say you work at a cubicle and then you look forward to talking to like your cubicle neighbor, Deborah, or whatever. And then it's like, okay, that's great. But then maybe like afterwards, go into the bathroom, lock yourself in a stall, and literally just jump, shake your whole body around. Like, do something to wake yourself up and be alive. And like, don't be afraid to do that. Even if it feels embarrassing, you're alone. Why are you embarrassed? Like, I listened to something. It is a podcast with Kristen Bell. I forget. She interviews like other women. It's like connected to Dax Shepard's podcast. I forget what it's called. Do you know what it's called?
I don't know what it's called. Something about future female.
Yeah. But she did an episode with Oprah, who I think Oprah is kind of like before our time. Like,
no, I love Oprah. She saved my life when I fell off that cliff.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that about you. Whatever. But Oprah said she's a major manifester. Like, her whole fucking life is just crazy. And she talked about how every answer or every question you have, the answer is within you. And she said that like she'll be in a meeting and she'll just like be like, 1 second, go to her office, lock herself in a closet and get really quiet and find the answer within herself. She's so connected to herself that she can do that. And I was like, whoa.
Well, Oprah has superpowers, but if you're not Oprah, I heard of a way to figure out those questions, to literally ask your subconscious out loud, like things you want to know or even be better at. And then your brain is actually like looking for ways to explain why that is true. So like if you're kind of like working on something, like I hate running. While I was running, my boyfriend taught me this trick, by the way. While I was running, I was like, why am I such a good runner? And my brain is like, why are we such a good runner? Okay, we have good endurance. Like, I'm thinking these things because it's hard for me. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to let my subconscious explain to me why I'm actually good at this. So
interesting. That's really cool because I feel like I am someone who's definitely prone to like asking other people their opinions all the time. I mean, we all do that. And again, that is that freaking ego of wanting to be accepted by society and fit in, which is like, why do we want to fit in? Just like do what makes you happy. But it's so hard because we all are so afraid of being judged, and that stems from, who knows, bullying or societal pressures. I mean, it's not really your personal fault, it's just the way it is. But like, I'll be at the mall and I have the urge to text my whole group of friends and being like, should I buy this shirt? I've done it before. I've texted you guys, been like, do you guys like this hat? And it's like, I knew I liked the hat. I put it on my fucking head. I looked in the mirror and I liked it. And I still needed that validation to buy it. And that also stems from my relationship with money and like spoiling myself. I have a hard time doing that. But it was like, if I just really asked myself if I wanted
do I like this?
I knew I did.
Yeah.
And it's really, and that, I mean, a hat is such a small example, but that goes for anything in your life.
Yeah.
Anything. Like, just, I don't know. I think that's why we probably like sitting in the car in silence or walks without headphones and stuff like that, because it forces you
to be with yourself.
Which is like hard.
And explore those things that are harder.
And it's even more hard these days because freaking social media.
We are attention machines now. We don't have any of it. It's barely there.
We have no attention. I try to watch a movie, like a classic movie from the 50s. It was so slow. I constantly felt myself like wanting to do anything else but watch
like,
this.
Pull out my fucking phone.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, it's been
more entertainment in TikTok in 5 seconds
than like me watching a fucking critically acclaimed movie. And I'm like, this was only 70 years ago. Like my, grandparents are like whatever, and I cannot focus on this, and that is on me. And well, it's on you, but it's also Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. They have engineers and specialists to prey on our weaknesses as humans.
They know our little faulty brains have short circuits, and they know the buttons to push.
Did you watch that documentary?
Yes.
What was that called? The documentary is called The Social Dilemma.
I knew social something.
Yeah. If you haven't watched that, definitely go watch it, because I literally am in social media and it made me question everything. It made me turn off my notifications on my phone or whatever. But it does give you a sense of like, okay, I'm not a piece of shit for watching TikTok for 5 hours. This is designed to do this to me. But once you have the tools, you can combat it. It's kind of like everything we talk about on this podcast. Like once you know your astrology or your astrological chart, once you know these things about yourself, then you can work to improve and be a better version of yourself.
You can work to have that mind, body, spirit moments, even if they're so small in your everyday life or anything like that. It's just identifying where you need to do the work.
Yeah.
And I mean, social media is a fucking... If you look at your time on your little iPhone, you're like, wow.
How am I spending so much of my
life
looking at this?
Am I a piece of shit?
But you're not. But I do think it's important. And sometimes I do look at it and I'm like, you know what? This is going to be... Depends on how motivation works for you. It's different for everyone. I'm a tough love kind of motivator. So if I look at that, I know it'll push me into a spiral of like, all right, time to meditate, time to journal, get the fuck off your phone.
I set a timer for myself.
Yeah.
I ignore the limit. I'm really bad.
Yeah.
Addiction's hard,
you guys, but I think if you, again, just to wrap this up before we go grab a tarot deck, if you think about something you enjoy, then you can kind of connect your mind, body, and spirit to that. But I think, what me and Kate were trying to get at is an easy way to connect yourself, mind, body, spirit, and get that kind of, euphoric feeling. I feel like when I am connected with all three, you feel enlightened.
It's like you're finding an intention, you're connecting some sort of physical
movement,
embodiment, whether that's even like taste or smell or touch
breath. You could be
or
focusing
breathing.
on your
Yeah, literally anything, or taking a stretch or taking a dance or like learning a new thing. Maybe you're throwing ceramics. I don't know what you're doing, but you're like connecting with your body. You have an intention to like be present with yourself, and then you're having that soul connection with yourself. That
soul connection, and mentally you are present. The best way you can connect your mind, body, soul, let go of the past, let go of the future, and truly be present in the moment. It is so good for you. It is difficult, but it is the best. And I think an easy way, if you're just like, I'm going to connect to myself more, mind, body, spirit.
Literally ask yourself.
Start with body. It's like, force yourself to do something physical, stretch, walk, yoga, dance, whatever. And then, do whatever connection with your mind and body and spirit after. Like maybe you wiggle for 5 minutes and then reflect on it in a journal, or go make a collage, or go paint and draw, and that's good mentally. Figure out.
Yeah, art therapy. Maybe you sing or hum or stretch, or there's so many different ways that you can like be connecting, be doing these things. And I would say literally ask yourself out loud, because your subconscious is going to try to figure it out. So what can I do to connect with my body? And ask yourself, sit on it, maybe journal about it. What can I do to connect with my soul, my spirit, my mind, my mentality? And most of the time we know the answers within ourselves. So try to be with yourself and figure it out.
Yeah. Should I
Let's grab a tarot deck. Yeah.
It's a pretty one.
6 of Wands. Victory, self-confidence, progress.
Oh, I love that.
So it's a peacock sitting in front of this beautiful presentation of its wings, of its feathers. You may have accomplished something. This is upright. Yeah. Okay. Celebration of everything the user has done and accomplished. Your confidence is brimming, you are self-assured, and may suggest that you have received or will receive some public recognition for your accomplishments. There's hardships, but you can take the pride in the fact that you weathered them with grace.
I love that.
Be confident and enjoy the accolade you bring yourself.
I would love to be selfish about this and say this is a card for me and Kate, because hopefully we'll get recognition for this podcast that we've been putting so much work in.
I would say just
also, I love this as progress, like, because I feel like this whole thing, mind, body, soul, is like, just working on yourself, and you're constantly anytime you are focused on improving yourself in any way is progress and growth, and is a victory.
Progress, not perfection.
Always.
It's all you can do. And also look back and be grateful of how far you've come, the changes you have made, and, just take responsibility if maybe you need to change other areas still. Like, I'm not meditating as much as I should. I got to take responsibility for that. I'm the only person responsible for that. I'm the only
person who will benefit and also can force myself to do these things like meditate and journal and go on a run and whatever. You have to be kind of responsible for your growth and changing your own life.
And like this said, there's hardships along the way, but trust in yourself and be confident in who you are.
Yeah. We love you guys. Thank you for listening to another episode.
Yay. Okay. Love you. Bye.
Bye.